my book. I have two books. One is my memoir, and the recent one is called Culting of America. We've sold so many audios, and this is the workbook that goes with Culting of America. It's going well. It's going well. So we are putting together the book tour. We are getting, I'm going to have an event in Hollywood on March 31st. I'm going to have an event in Dallas on April 16th. And then I'm going to have a event in London in June. Event in Louisiana, New Orleans in May, early May. Event in London in June. And then it might be August, not July, because I think my brother comes to visit for a little bit. And we're going to do Iowa City, Iowa. We're going to do like a little Midwest book tour, probably, where Lizzie and I come to like 5 different locations. I do not need or want religion, and I never have. So that is how we deal with it. And then we'll see after that. I think in the fall, I think Chicago will definitely be a part of the mini Midwest tour, and then definitely Boston in the fall. So that is what I've got right now. No North Carolina yet. Something we can do in July just on our own with the knitting cult van. It is something we have talked about. Raleigh, Asheville. There was a plan, but then there was too much stuff going on. Yeah, the bios of me are pretty cool. I've done some stuff. Right. This is the shirt I'm making for the knitting. I might also only wear it with pasties. The Unitarian Universalists want me to come talk. Good morning, Canada. How goes it? Well, you see, what is the future of the Mormon church? Because they have so much money. But here's the thing. The way that cults die is when they fail to keep or recruit the next generation. And that is happening to the Mormons. And it doesn't actually matter that they have more money than Heavenly Father, because they're not keeping the children. Same for MAGA. MAGA is going to fall apart a lot faster than that. But yeah, have all the money in the world. Doesn't matter if you don't have any cult members. We have a great model for this, the children of God. At some point, it will reach a tipping point, and it will be no longer worth keeping the organization together. And then the people who have the money will be very rich, and everyone else will just have the cult fall apart around them, which produces an interesting group of people that I call never lefters. Because they didn't actually have the process of waking up from the cult and leaving. The cult just ceased to exist around them. Those people tend to go pretty fast into new cults. My perspective on Project 25 is I'm very familiar with cult operations plans. Y'all are seeing it for the first time, but I've been seeing cult operations plans my whole life. It's still not working for them, and they're really bad at it. I think this generation, the Mormon Church, is dying out. I think the marriage camps is a real thing. I don't think there's anyone that does mass marriages except cults. I handle knowing so much by writing books and talking to people. No, we don't make jokes about being a cult here. People that make jokes about being a cult are cringy, and they're usually cults. Talking about. But so if you think about Mormons, right? Like I know thousands and thousands of ex-Mormons. Most of them come from large families, and almost always the story goes, two of my siblings are still in Mormonism, but 8 are out. So like they're already passing the tipping point of it's not going to survive. They're just too big for that to happen quickly. But it's happening. You're cool, MC squared. It's just like, this is why people say that calling something like MAGA a cult is belittling, because most people just make jokes about cults, very dehumanizing jokes. And like, cults are the worst things in the world. Ritual rape, mass murder, terrorism. Like, so I do not joke about being a cult because it's serious. I do name my products after cults. Yeah, so the Mormons are falling apart. MAGA, before they destroyed the mission and it started falling apart much, much faster, it was already, it's already significant that the only youth vote that he got was angry white men who are not getting laid. Right. How I wrote 2 books and became a professional scholar. I love that everyone now is starting to call people cult scholars instead of cult experts. Yeah, I did that. And we're opening tickets back up for the knit-in. What about the Moonies? They're one of the people that does arranged marriages. People do this to me a lot. They're like, what about X cult? Or can you talk about this cult? More information. What about the Moonies? How rude. Trying to make the U.S. a theocracy, seem to have reviewed their plans. Which brand of American Christian? Oh, it's definitely evangelical Christianity. That's why I think it's very interesting that the Mormons and the Catholics are in bed with the evangelicals, because I really don't think Catholics in general understand. Like, Catholics look at evangelicals and they're like, oh, different kind of Christian. Evangelicals look at Catholics, fucking heathens. Go into hell. They do not see y'all as Christians at all. So yeah, get in bed with Mormons and Catholics are in bed with them, but they're going to kill y'all next if they get their Christian theology. That's why it's interesting that the Supreme Court is on board with this as well, because the Supreme Court is very heavily Catholic. But no, the evangelical Christians are the ones that hold the power right now. How I wrote 2 books and became a professional scholar. It was so weird for me to move from Latin America, which is, of course, full of Catholics, and they all believe that they are Christians, to the US, where people say, I'm a Christian, but they mean evangelical Christian, as definitely separate from Catholics. And the Mormons have only recently been trying to sell that they are Christians. Why pasties? Oh, because I'm an adult and I get to wear anything I want. And today I decided to wake up and wear this because it's brilliant and awesome. Why are you asking other adults what they're wearing? It's weird and low-key abusive. Yeah, don't do that anymore. Advice on convincing a whole village. Nobody knows how to tell you how to get people out of cults. And if they do, they are a charlatan. Run away. The president doesn't have access to the nuclear codes, actually. ... There are checks and balances, even in that. Today, we have the knit-in. So as soon as I post these videos and eat my breakfast, y'all are going to lose me, so then I can record. Y'all will get to stay. Yep, freedom of speech is important. Also, no culture in history has ever given back rights without a fight. So, good luck to Trumpy. Do you think that I don't know my hair is colorful? Thanks for the hate comments. Pays me so much money. I was absolutely a Kamala voter. It's weird that you think that that's an insult. I was heavily campaigning for her. There's nothing different or unique about the Twin Flames cult. There's nothing different or unique about any cult. They're all the same. That's because if you want to control someone with dark psychology, you have to study the people that know how to do it, just like if you want to help people with psychology. No, I don't say spirit animal. That is bad cultural appropriation of Native Americans. White women as a whole really need to stop saying spirit animal. Someone else had like a good name for it, but I don't remember. I also say sacred moose instead of sacred cow, because that was one I actually needed a term for. And mass marriages. You might be in a cult if ... you're doing mass marriages ... Heritage Foundation, ! They are losing control. Him arresting a journalist, that's the loss of control, right? That's also an actual tangible sign of an attempt for totalitarianism, okay? Totalitarianism, different from authoritarianism. Authoritarianism wants to control you. Totalitarianism wants to control you and your thoughts. This is why totalitarian nations are a type of cult. Nazi Germany being a prime example, North Korea being another example.
Because the brightness of the outside, I can't really see the screen.
Why does everything have to have a label? Oh, because that's what scholars and experts do. We put labels on things and we spend a lot of time figuring out words and the ways to describe things because it's incredibly important. Great thing to educate yourself on. Also, y'all, I'm going to start the Spanish. No, Lizzie, she is still not in school. Potentially one of the busier weeks of my career. It's been fun. It's been fun. No, there's no virtual. It's just no. What I'm doing in Spanish, I'm putting Culting of America into Spanish. So I'm starting this process. I'm still kind of hoping March, but it might be summer. A new economic paradigm. I believe today is the economic strike. Don't go to work, don't go to school. So I guess it's convenient that my child is not in school. How do I keep it so vibrant? The hair, I mean, you're still seeing me within under a month, under 2 weeks, I think, of it being done. So it doesn't stay this vibrant. It fades pretty fast. Then I just mix extra colors in it till it's time to go back and update it again. But yeah, I keep my hair this way with money and privilege. But on the nice part, I don't actually have to pay for my own hair because all of the insults about my hair pays for my hair and my yearly vacations. Red. Why the demonization of the color red in several cults? Because tyrants hate red when they cannot control it. Hugh Hefner and Hitler both hated red lipstick. People are insulting me because I'm a woman on the internet and I'm an expert on the internet. And we hate women and we hate experts in this country. Honey babes, if you think ISIS trained security, I cannot help you. The underlying reason that a cult begins is because a cult leader wants to coerce and manipulate people and get power and labor. The number one reason people join cults is because cult recruiters go out and deceptively pull them in. Yay, Dallas! April 16th. If you go to, well, probably my other social media, because I don't know how this place works with the links in the bios, but we have an event that we are starting to take signups for. Because red is bold, because red is messy, because red lipstick for sure is adult. There's a lot of reasons. So red is associated with standing out. And the number one thing you're not supposed to do in a cult is stand out. No, nobody said a cult was an illness. A cult is the most extreme form of group. How does one become an expert? 10,000 hours or more. How does one make money as an expert? Well, you've got to go build that. Those are two different things. When I mean, I said, I'm good at being an expert. What am I going to be an expert on next? And I decided culture. I'm going to be an expert on culture. And I think there's 3 ways I can get paid to talk about culture for the rest of my life. I can write a book, I can get a PhD, or I can start a company. And so being me, I started all 3. And the book broke first, and I ended up with a master's degree and now 2 books. But then I built my own platform to share my own expertise. One of the reasons that there are no courses for cult studies, like you can get a bachelor's degree in cult studies, is because nobody knows what anyone is going to do with that. No. Lecturing me about the comments is no bueno. Oh, silly koalas. Yeah, no, continuing to lecture me about the comments, really not going to work for you. Sit the fuck down. Yeah, but like, if you have expertise, stop trying to get people to believe you and just go figure out how to use your expertise and share your expertise. Like, I didn't ask anyone for permission. I just got on the internet and said, I'm an expert on cults. I said scholar because I didn't want to say expert. And then I just started giving you expert level information every day. So the reason I'm a respected expert is not because of my credentials. It's because every single day I'm on the internet giving people expert level information. So I tell people this: if you know something good enough to do it as a job, then you probably know it well enough to teach it. Then you can teach it to the internet, and you don't know what that might turn into. All of this started for me because I was writing a book called The Culting of America. And I said, you know what? My life is fascinating. I read interesting things and I'm writing a cool book. And I wonder if people want to know this information. So yeah, what makes you an expert is having expert level information in that field. There's many ways you can do it. And there's many ways you can establish your expertise. You just have to get out there and do it. You are a scholar, love a PhD person. And I'm in the process of university. And I'm the exact kind of person to college courses without a PhD because my field is so niche and so special. I do not remember my first post ever on TikTok. It was probably about uncultured. However, the first channel I ever started was a YouTube channel that I started, I don't know, it was about 28, 29. This was like 15, 16, maybe 17. And I started a YouTube channel called What Wine Goes With That? And it was pairing bad grocery store wine with things like doing laundry on a Tuesday and just talking to the internet. And one of my mentors in an entrepreneur program told me, you know, people like watching you on video. And when I see him again in Dallas, I'm going to give him a really giant $5,000 check. Ethan, I need your help figuring out how to print a really giant check. I got one once and it was glorious. So now I'm going to do this. The YouTube channel does not still exist. I mean, maybe it still exists. I don't know if I ever closed it down. That would be funny. Okay, where am I? Where am I? Inclusive economics. Okay, I think that's it. I posted all the videos. So, yeah, giant checks, which is funny because you can. So, first of all, there's a court case in America where somebody, I'm pretty sure it's a real thing, where somebody took a pig into the court, and the pig, what was written on it was a check. And then later they tried to get him for non-payment of debts, and they were like, no, he gave a check. The pig, a check is just a thing saying, I give you this money. However, when I was going to college, I got like 12 grand up front, overall probably 24 grand in scholarships. And I got a $2,000 scholarship. No, you will not be arrested in any town for wearing this, because this is not nude in any version of America. You should try it. I mean, maybe you'd be arrested, but you would not actually go to jail or have any crime against you. This is just like breastfeeding as well. Cops are constantly threatening women that breastfeeding is illegal, and it is not in any state, in any place. No, Anne, get the fuck out of here. You don't get to talk to me like that. So I got a $2,000 check, and they gave me a really big check. And I mean, I assume I got rid of it at some point, but I had it for so long and hanging up in my bedroom. And then, like, usually you also, like, they also handed me a regular check. I didn't have to like take the giant check to the bank and cash it. I could have. So anyway, I'm going to make a giant check for this guy and give it to him. It's going to be so fun. Look, we're not going to do this expert thing. If you want to write a book on parenting and you have a 30-year-old kid, write a fucking book, la gringa. Nobody's stopping you. And then if you write a good book, many people might consider you an expert. Yes, that's how it works. It's really weird that you're like making that a thing. Hey, Ranger 04. The whole, it was just a joke thing. Like, let's stop. Let's leave that to the angry white bros, okay? If you want to write a book about your experience, do it. It's fucking hard. I've done it twice. This last one cost me about $150,000. Go right ahead. Write anything you want. No, I don't think there are useful cults. No, if you're not interested, we didn't need that whole line of speech at all. Oh, because that's how much it costs to make good books. Schrodinger's joke. Good one, good one. Yeah, you can write a book because you want to. What's important to understand is a book is a product, and every product that you develop costs money and is a risk. So you need to figure that out. You know what? I tried to make a coloring book, and instead it got turned into a companion workbook to my book, and this was definitely the secret success product. So for now, no. But I'm going to make a children's book, maybe this summer, finally, my children's book, which is called Mommy, I Lost My Smile. And it's for children dealing with grief and trauma. And I want to make that one an adult coloring book. My publisher says, no, I should make it a regular book, and then maybe also adult coloring book if you need to. Yeah. The only thing, it is weird that people need other people to validate their expertise. And like, if you think you're an expert in something, start a channel on it. You'll find out real fast if your expertise goes deep enough. But also, like, a huge part of my channel is just reading other people's stuff, expertise out. And then you read their expertise, and now it's part of your expertise. I even discovered this great trick of you can put your favorite quotes and ideas in your book. And now they're in my book. I used to hold up all these other cult scholars' books when I was talking about their stuff. Now I just hold up mine, and then I get to say, books attached at the end. So there is a tip for you as well. Ethan, the workbook is sold separately, but well, right now it's sold in bundles. No, I think separately also. Like we have a bundle, several bundles with the workbook in, but it doesn't automatically come with the book. I don't know what the Erica Kirk leak is, but no, generally, like if you're in the cult, things that are happening outside the cult don't necessarily always affect you because they'll just tell you not to read it, not to look at it. You know, this is part of why we're seeing with both of the shootings of white people, we saw them rush to the news to get their version out first. And it doesn't matter that their version is obviously false because people are going to stop paying attention as soon as they get the first explanation. They're just going to buy that explanation. Turning Point is not a rebrand of MAGA. Turning Point is just another organization in the MAGA fold. I experienced totalitarianism, yeah, because I grew up in a cult. Conditioned responses is a sign of brainwashing for sure. Also, when different people use the exact same phraseology, that's a sign of a closed system. Like you'll notice that all AAers respond to critiques with the exact same language. I saw it once, then I never found it again. There's this YouTube video which showed like Scientologists, famous ones like John Travolta and blah, 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 like answering questions about Scientology in the exact same language. And then the second half was steppers, folks in AA doing the exact same thing. And it's like, that's how you know. If another cult scholar came here and you asked them the same question you asked me about cults, we would answer it with different language, right? When you're in a closed system, you answer it with the exact same language every time. That's one of the ways you know. Oh, hey, Sarah. I'm sorry. Send an email to admin@uncultureyourself.com. I would love to send you a signed copy or one or both of my books. And also, if you're interested in a seat in my cult book club, let them know. That's my Children of God Family International Scholarship. Thank you. One of the things I really actively do this for is to put words to people's concepts and experiences. Specialized fields do have special jargon. And this is one of my favorite examples, right? Because people want my work to just have this easy answer. Like people want me to just be like, yeah, it's fine. Specialized fields aren't culty. No, that's something you are at risk of. That's something you have to be careful of. Specialized language works because it makes you feel special. It isolates you from the outside world, and it can have all kinds of loaded languages and thought-stopping cliches. Those three things happen in specialized fields. You are just more at risk in engineering or a medical field than you are in something that happens in a language that everybody speaks. So, like, you have to have all 10 of my things to be a cult, but if you're in a field with specialized language, you are more in danger of being coerced and manipulated and having your labor exploited. That's just a fact. Will there be more journalists censored? Unlikely successfully, but certainly he's going to keep trying to play fascism games. You know, it's so funny because people keep running to tell me I was wrong. And I'm like, what? When I said we're going to be on a 4-year march toward dictatorship, what did you all think that meant? I'm so interested. This is what I meant. He is just going to make Don Lemon more popular. Same thing as as Mark Kelly, right? Like, look, I'm low-key hoping that they try to sue me for my book or come after me because I will just immediately be a millionaire. Be pretty amazing. Hang on, folks. Okay, I have an interview in 10 minutes that I was unaware of, so I'll go put some clothes on.